Yeah, this is a good bounce back win for us. Coming off a tough loss on the road, so this was important going into the break that we were able to hold our serve here at home. I thought we got some good efforts, especially the second quarter. I thought set the tone where we kind of were able to open it up a little bit. Certainly some really good things to take away from the game, and obviously other things that we have to improve on throughout. But very happy to be able to come back and pick ourselves up and get a win.
That's really the reason for the off season. You have the chance to get better. You have the chance to work on things that need improvement. So I believe I'm just taking it game by game and taking what the defense is giving me.
Aliyyah, seeing foul trouble against Duquesne, kind of struggled a little bit. It was important for you to get off to a good start, and kind of got the team off to a good start today.
Yeah, it's just all about the bounce back. We leaving that game in the past, and today we was a better team.
Did you feel like personally, I have to bounce back with my team kind of senior?
Yeah. Since I got in foul trouble last game, it was an awful game, so I felt like I had to come back and be a better player.
Danaejah, into Big East play, where would you kind of say some of the young players are that try to help you and Aliyyah? That they've shown signs based on stats and things like that. Where would you kind of say where they are today, as opposed to even early in the season?
They're coming along. I think they're giving us the best efforts that they can. And once they continue to get more experience on the floor, it'll come easier to them.
And Danaejah, what area do you think you've grown the most? Like free throws looks like maybe percentage, but what area do you think you've grown the most in? That you're a different player today versus, let's say, last year?
I'll probably say free throws, just being consistent in that area, being able to knock them down when we need them.
Aliyyah, just how important was maybe the ball movement and patience on offense today? That you guys didn't force too many shots and kind of worked your way to good shots against the zone.
It's all about the extra pass. We all just feel like we need to get everybody involved and get them better. So the extra passes was great today. We had the freshmen, well, not the freshmen, some of the sophomores had good shots today, just off of extra passes.
Do you think that's even more important for the younger kids to put them in good positions to score, and then maybe like there's 5 3-pointers today, a couple from the younger kids, that more of that stuff can happen?
Yes. As a freshman, being able to set them up for shots, I think it makes it a little bit easier for them to get comfortable in the game. It might be harder for them to create their own shots, so seeing them when they're open and giving them the ball is good.
Awesome. Aliyyah obviously doesn't play well the other day. Is this the type of maybe performance you expect from a senior like her, to have 15 in the first half and kind of get you guys going real quick?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you've got a player of her stature, you want her to be able to come out and start well, and I think that's always been important for her. Coming off the game the other day, which to me is somewhat of an outlier, but also gives you an idea of kind of where you are and the things that you need to work on. I was more concerned about her energy today, more about us, and more about how we were going to play than what Fairfield was going to do. And did we do it for the whole game? I don't think so, but I think we did enough to win the game, which was good. And listen, you can watch teams sputter and they have a bad game, and then they continue to kind of get into quicksand and keep going down. And so it was important for us to bounce back. Aliyyah stepped up. I thought Danaejah played efficiently as well, but this is probably one of Aliyyah's most efficient games. And then Jay gave us some good moments. Our bench again stepped up, which was great. Keena seems to hit a big shot in every game, so her 3 kind of pushed it up. And Crystal was, everybody that played, Crystal hit 2 big shots in the first half that I couldn't be happier for her, because she's been really working on it.
Thank you, Coach. Where would you say that kind of the bench is kind of the supporting players? How would you describe kind of their growth, or anything really stand out to you about them to support Aliyyah, Danaejah, and Jade?
I think they're getting better, and I think that's partly due to their confidence and being on the floor. And last year was difficult for a lot of our freshmen, and then this year we've got 2 that are, I think, going to be great players in this program for years to come. And every game is different, every matchup's different. They're learning that the season's a marathon for them compared to what it was in high school, from the speed to the physicality. And then being able to watch Crystal and then Amani, who we don't talk a lot about, who has done a kind of a 180 from last year and been able to really give us good moments this year. is vital. We didn't have Sandra today. I mean, no one talks about Sandra. It's like she's a forgotten player. I know they were without someone too, but so our depth today was going to be important as far as our rotation, and so it was great to see those guys get some good minutes, and that's good because last year we had, we didn't have a lot, and so I'm pretty comfortable with all of our roster.
Kind of like I asked them, when you get the ball movement that you did today, can you point to that, somebody that said, if we do that, we're going to get everybody involved and put them in positions to have some success?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the game is about, especially when you're facing zones, the game is about shifting the zone and making people guard. And when we don't throw it to the other team, we're pretty good. But when you got to be able to do that, ball fake and be able to make passes. So some of the same things we watch in practice, we see happen in games. That's the slippage you got to get rid of. And going into the league, as I told them in the locker room, you got to be ready to play. Everybody knows you better. Everybody knows what you want to do. And so I think getting to this point at 9-2, obviously after the other day, you want to be perfect, but sometimes you can't be. And we've got to take this and be able to get ready and prepared now for a grueling Big East schedule. But yeah, I mean, ball movement is key. When we pass and watch, and we go one pass and watch everybody, we're not that good, and so that happens at times when you aren't playing well. So it was good to see that today. We had 15 assists. We haven't had 15 in a while, minus the 19 turnovers, but 15 assists were good on 29 buckets.
Joe, they seemed like they had a little bit of an edge after they were upset that they lost Saturday. Did you kind of get that? That's probably a good thing to have if you did have that they did have those expectations.
I hope you saw it, Ralph, because that's great. I mean, if you could tell me that, I feel better when I go home for Christmas now.
Yeah.
I think it's a momentum piece too. I think there's always a shift, but I think certainly they were focused. A little wake-up call as to what you need to do when you walk into the gym, and so you have their attention at practice, you have their attention at film. There's no time for the pity party and to sit there and dwell on things. You played bad, you got to move on. Something I've learned to do in my 4 years as a head coach. You got to move on and get ready for the next one. So for our players, that was the message. And so when you come in, you got to be ready to play. And I was happy to see the energy level, especially in the first quarter, because we've started slow here in a number of games. So it was good to see that, which we kind of did for the first couple minutes again, but we righted that ship.
Last question for Coach. Anybody?
Guess what do you think will be the biggest lesson that you feel the ladies have learned from this non-conference schedule that you could take going into the Big East play?
I think it's probably similar to anything else. I think we put them in a position to be challenged. I liked our schedule a lot as far as who we were playing, different types of styles, from UCLA, even down to the Fairfield, Sacred Hearts, Marist, guys that we're going to see that are kind of similar in our league, not always the same. And then having South Florida, and so they want to be challenged, and I think that was a big part. And then also you learn that you can't just show up and play. And quite frankly, we didn't deserve to win the games we lost. And so I think they understand that every game they show up, they've got to play harder than our opponent, and that's been something that's been the cornerstone of our program. And when you don't do that, it takes away from the edge that we have. So I think they've learned a lot. I think they've learned that, and they've grown as a team. Rankings are rankings, and all that stuff is great. And like we talk about all the time, it's about the end of the year and what your sheet looks like and trying to win a Big East championship. So it's been fun to watch our league do well. And so it's going to be a challenging schedule as we move into Big East play.